Hello everybody, and welcome back to this mini-series on visual language and visual patterns. If you haven't seen the intro to this mini-series, click on this link right here. It will take you back to the intro where I will describe exactly what visual languages is and the breakdown of visual patterns. Now, if you have seen the intro and you are up to date, then let's jump into today's video, which is all about contrast. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about contrast. Now, what do you think when I say contrast? Now, you're probably thinking about your editing software. I use Lightroom, and in Lightroom, I have this contrast slider. So you're probably thinking about the contrast of the picture. So if I move it to the left, you can see what it does to the picture. And if I move it to the right, you can see what it does to the picture. This is contrast. This is probably what jumps to mind. But when it comes to photography, we have different types of contrast that we can take into consideration. And that's exactly what I want to introduce you to today in this video, the different types of contrast that we can use in our frames to produce images. So let's take a quick look, before we get stuck into the video, a quick look at the dictionary meaning of contrast. The state of being strikingly different from something else in juxtaposition or close association. So we're not only talking about contrast in the Lightroom slider sort of aspect, where something is lighter or something is darker that adds more contrast or takes away contrast to make it look flatter. We're also looking at things that have resemblance but are strikingly different. They have some kind of marriage in some way, but they're strikingly different. So this will all make sense when we go through some of the examples that I usually show you in these videos. Okay, so just a quick recap on what we'll be going through. So we'll be going through tonal contrast. Tonal contrast is the difference between the lightest parts of the image and the darkest parts of the image, like we touched base on earlier. And the second contrast that we'll be touching base on is color contrast. So color contrast is basically what it says on the tin. It is the contrasting colors. So if you look at the color wheel, it's usually the opposite colors that are contrasting. So blues and oranges, for example, that you see on a sunset. You see the blue sea and you see the orange sky. These are complementary colors and they're contrasting colors. And the third contrast that we'll be touching base on is called conceptual contrast. So conceptual contrast is quite an umbrella term, but if you could imagine old versus new, short versus tall, or urban versus nature. Some of you might have heard of it as called juxtaposed. It's the same sort of thing. It's two elements that are doing the opposite to each other, but are in the same realm. So it could be two people standing looking at the camera, and one is wearing yellow and one is wearing blue. It's a difference in that nature. Okay, so that's enough chat about contrast, enough of the intro. Let's jump into some examples so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so in this first example, this was taken in the city in London on a sunny day, and it is an example of tonal contrast. So let's talk about why tonal contrast works. So tonal contrast works basically what you're doing as a photographer. The viewer is naturally drawn to the brightest parts of the image. So in this image here, you can see that I've captured this person walking through there, looking at their mobile phone, but I've captured them in this sort of ray of light. So in Lightroom, I have made the outer areas darker, and I have made the brightest area in balance. So that's another thing you want to do with your photography. You don't want to completely change a photo. You just want to enhance what's going on. So there was this lovely ray of light, this lovely pattern. I set up my camera, got my settings, and I knew I wanted somebody walking from the right side of the frame into the left side, the mid center, and towards the left side of the frame. And I wanted to capture them walking in a walking motion. And this chap came along. There was a few people before, but this guy, he walked perfectly through the center of the frame, and I caught him in that beautiful walking stride. So once captured, I took it into Lightroom, and I just made the shadow areas a bit darker so it doesn't grab your attention, and the lightest areas I just brought them up a touch, just enough so it captures the viewer's attention. And the reason it works so well is because we are naturally drawn to the lightest parts of an image, of a photo. And in this example, I wanted the viewer to be drawn into the center of the frame where the subject is. So that's why light works so well, tonal contrast works so well. You can use it to direct the viewer's attention through your frame or to the subject of your frame. So in this example here, in this image right here, captured near London Bridge, I'm doing much the same as I was doing before. So I've naturally caught an ray of light that is going down the side of a building, and I've waited for the subject to come across, and I've captured them at the right moment where they're interacting with that ray of light. Now, once I've got this into Lightroom, I've made the darkest parts of the image slightly darker, and I've brought up the highlighted part of the image so that when a viewer looks at it, it's going to grab their attention and instantly you go towards the subject. In this case, it's this gentleman walking through the ray of light. So using this method makes the image pop. And that's the whole purpose of tonal contrasting. It makes the image pop and it draws the viewer's attention into the part of the image that you want the viewer to look at. So in this example, it's very obvious what the image is about and where you should be looking at the image as a viewer. So in Lightroom, when I've taken this photo and I've uploaded it into Lightroom, I've purposely darkened the shadow areas and made them more black so it doesn't distract you, it doesn't take your attention away. And the lighter area, I've brought it up a bit, not so it's overexposed, but I've brought it up a bit so that it grabbed your attention. Also, when capturing this image, I've waited for the subject to reach the highlighted area of the image because I want that contrast. I wanted to capture them in this silhouette sort of mood and this silhouette sort of action. And I did this by backlighting. And using this method, it simplifies the frame, it simplifies the image and the end product. It makes it very, very easy to understand. There's no distractions and you can instantly tell what the photo is about and you know who the subject is or what the subject is. Okay, so let's now move on to color contrast. Let me show you an example of what I mean by color contrast. Okay, so in this example, we've got opposing colors. Or if you look at the color wheel, you'll see that orange and blue are on the opposite sides of the color wheel, so they're contrasting colors. So this image was taken at the London Barbican, and you had these amazing buildings, this amazing architecture and structure. Love it there. If you haven't been, you have to go. But what we have here, color-wise, is the cool blue calming sky, and opposing we've got the warm orange. So there's a contrast of colors, it's a contrast of feel, and you get a lot of this sort of color contrast in this particular example when the sun is setting, the sun is lower in the sky, because you then get a nice warm orange that is in contrast to the cool sky. What we also have here is on the left hand side of the image, I've captured a little bit of the building, and I put this in there by purpose. And on the right side of the image, you've got the dark side of this tall estate-like building. So you've also got tonal contrast. You've got very bright sky and bright building, and you've also got very, very dark. So in this image, we're not only working with color contrast, we're also working with tonal contrast, and it gives a good balance. It makes it more pleasing to the eye. It's very simplistic. It's very easy to understand what's going on, and it's very pleasing to the eye to look at. And another element of contrast that we have in this image that I touched base on earlier, we've got urban versus nature. So nature being the sky, and we've got this brutalist urban structure that is in total contrast to nature. So that's another type of contrast that we can add to our photography to make it more interesting. So in this example here, much the same as the last example, there's a little bit more going on. The last example was a lot more simplistic, but in this example, we're using the color contrast and tonal contrast as well. So the color contrast being the light blue sky that has that cooling effect, and then you have the sun setting on the architecture, the building here, which is the Barbican. I think I took this on the same day in the same sort of photography walk, the same sort of photography session. But you have the contrast of color. You have the warmness of the sun setting on the buildings, and you have the coolness, the cool blue of the sky. We also have the tonal contrast as well. So you can see I could have stepped out of this frame towards the structure and just captured the building against the sky. But what I chose to do is take a step back into my environment and use this window as a frame. And in this example, I've obviously exposed for the structure, for the sky, for the building and the light. And that has put this inside tunnel in total blackness. So again, we have the color contrast of the blue, cool blue against the warm orange, but we also have the tonal contrast of the bright subject, the bright sky, the bright sun on the building against the darkness of the inside of this tunnel that I am in. Also, like the last image, we have nature versus urban. So we have this urban, this man-built, this human-built structure that's quite brutalist and quite solid, concrete against the beautiful nature. A little bit of clouds against this simple, natural backdrop. Okay, I'll just jump into this video very quickly. If you'd like to buy me a coffee and help support this channel and all the free videos and information that I put out, there is a link below. Subscribe, help this channel grow and grow this community. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so now let's move on to conceptual contrast, or some of you might know it as juxtapose. So let's take a look at this example. This is an example that I took around the bank area, nice sunny day in London, and you can see that I'm using the contrast of architecture. So you have the newer buildings in the background, the shiny city buildings, the banker buildings, and you have old London in the foreground. So I position myself, you can see here, I'm using the old buildings as almost a frame. It looks like the newer building is sprouting out and overlooking older London. So the contrast is architecture, new versus old. Here's another example of juxtapose. So again, I'm in the city, I'm in London, it's a sunny day, and you can see I've positioned myself down a street. I forget the name of the street, it will come to me after I've made this video, I'm sure. But on the street, we've got the older buildings of London, and you've got the walkie-talkie, a much newer building that's overlooking the older style of building in London. So again, it's the difference in architecture. It's the old architecture versus the newer architecture. Also, we can see I've added a human element. So there was this ray of light coming down an alleyway from the right-hand side of the frame. So I positioned myself, I've got all of my settings, and I've just waited for a subject to come walking through that ray of light. I've exposed for the ray of light and the highlighted areas of the frame. And so that adds scale to it as well. So we've got the juxtapose of the new architecture versus the older architecture, but we've also got juxtapose scale. So we've got this huge walkie-talkie skyscraper in the background, and we've got this tiny, almost insignificant person walking through this ray of light. So we've got a couple of different conceptual contrasting elements going on in this frame. So here's another example, a more complex example of juxtapose. This is me coming out of a train station, a tube station in London. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but as I was traveling up, I had my camera, I was playing with the settings, and I noticed we're on two sort of escalators going up out the station. On the right hand side, we have a loaded escalator with lots and lots of people, and on the left hand side, the escalator in front of me, there was just this single chap, this single guy, and he looks and feels so lonely. Like, why is he by himself, and why is that escalator packed? And he's almost looking to the right hand side and thinking, what's going on here? Why is everyone over there? So we have the juxtapose and contrast of people. So we have a single person on the left hand side, and we have a lot of people on the right hand side. And it adds interest to the frame. It adds interest and a story to the entire photo. So here's a beautiful photo by a famous photographer called Steve McCurry. He was one of my favorite documentary photographers. He travels all around the world, been doing it for many years, and travels to Afghanistan and India and war zones and just documented life. Fantastic photographer. I highly recommend checking out his work. But in this example, he's got war against humanity, the play of children. There's these children, this contrast of elements. There's war and there's death. Obviously there's been war in this area, and he's captured these children just playing and laughing. They're using this machine of destruction and death as their playground. So the contrast here is childhood joy and laughter and togetherness against the evilness and the death, destruction that this kind of equipment, this tank, this war can bring. So there's many different types of contrasts that you can go out there and experience in the world and capture in the world. These are just a few elements that I'm trying to show you. Okay, so let's wrap this video up. Let's wrap this contrast video up. I hope it opened your eyes and made you think about the different types of contrast that we can add to our frames to improve our photography. Contrast is not just about light and dark. We have color contrast, we have tonal contrast, we have conceptual contrast, juxtapose. There are many different types of contrast. I'd love you now to go out there into the world, into your environment, and put this theory to the test. Color contrast, tonal contrast, and conceptual contrast. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, click on the link below this video. It will take you to the Facebook group. It's growing every single day. I'd love you to post up some of your images so we can all see and we can talk about photography and grow as a community.